Thanks for coming tonight, everybody. It's going to be a wild and crazy meeting. We have lots of things to get through tonight. First of all, I'd like to thank Adre and the Lucky Lab. Adre is our server tonight. Make sure you tip well, and thank you for being here. Also want to mention Tom Luba is here. He's our membership coordinator. And Tom has, for the folks in the room here, Tom has t-shirts and hats and all kinds of good stuff to sell. So see Tom at the end or whenever. And let's see, number 3, Gay. I'll hold these for you. All right, here, let's do this. I'll be on this side.
All right, that'll work. I just want to let everybody know I brought books from our Oops library over here on this table, and you are welcome to check them out. Please take a look before you leave. I'm not going to talk about anything in specific because there's going to be so much talking tonight, so many people. But I did bring books that have to do with the local area. So when you really just want to get out on the river and paddle for an afternoon, no far driving or anything, I've got lots of guidebooks for you over there. So that's it.
Thank you, Gay. And then I guess I should say, who here is new tonight in the Lucky Labs? Are there any new folks? Wendy Lou's sister is here. Yay. Thank you for coming. That's awesome. Nice. Okay, and board members, any board members here? Yay, thank you, board members. This we have a hardworking board, and you're going to hear more about them later. But for now, let's bring up our illustrious president, Mark Neiman Ross.
I gotta carry both of them. Woo. Talk into that. Okay, wow, this is complex.
The screen.
Don't do that. Okay,
Touch the screen.
how's that? Okay. This is really complex. Hi, I'm your illustrious president, Mark Neiman Ross. I know. Tonight, so I've been called out. I have the honor of announcing our newest 2 trip organizers. First of all, we'd like to talk about David was sitting right over there. Where is he now? Where's he heading? There you are, back there. Stand up, David Neeson. David Neeson. David Neeson has, we've discovered 2 superpowers. Number 1, and you'll see this documented in paper, he picks really good days to run paddles on. You know, it's like, I'm looking at this at 77 degrees and 73 degrees. Okay, Willamette to Elk Rock, 46 degrees and rain, that sucked. But you know what, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, so that's good. Yeah, no. Now, the other superpower that he has is getting people to sign up for his trips. He had 18, no, let's see, what is this? 10 people, 8 people, and 10 people sign up for 10 people who got out in the rain and paddle around Elk Rock. Nice job, David. All right. Woo. Okay, but wait, there's more. At least one more. Yes, there is. Carrie Smith. Carrie, are you online? There you are. Carrie, wave to us. Turn on your, do something. There you are. Okay, I'm not gonna wait for you. Sorry, buddy. Okay, so Carrie Smith is also one of our newest trip organizers. He's he's such a nice guy, and if you ever paddled with him, you should. So give it a try with him. There he is. There's Carrie. There's Carrie. Everybody wave to Carrie. Hi, buddy. Okay. Yeah, and Carrie's a great salmon cook. And when you go on a trip with him, you can ask him about shocking fish. Right? Not as in amazing fish, but actually going out and, you know, sticking bare wires in the water and making them come to the surface. So always amusing, Carrie. So congratulations, Carrie. We're sorry you're not here. Good work. Okay, good job. That's what I got. That was all I have to say. Oh, and vote for me when it comes to elections, please.
Thank you, Mark. All right. And next up, we have Bert Craigies. He is our secretary, and he's going to talk to you about elections. I'll hold both of these. Don't touch the screen if possible on the phone.
We'll see if this works. Okay, we have the elections. We have a slate. All the positions are unopposed, which is mostly good. I kind of wish there'd been some more competition with regard to the secretary position. But anyway, I'm going to keep this short. I'm going to announce the person that is running for the position, and if everyone who is a member can raise their hand if they're in favor and just scream out no if they're not. People on Zoom, just enter your vote in on the chat, and hopefully we'll get it recorded. But like I said, it's an unopposed slate, and although I do take the election seriously, I don't think they need to take up more time than they probably already have. So Mark Neiman Ross for president. Anyone opposed? Okay. Mark, the votes are in. Okay. Hey, everyone, I'm waiting. Okay, we have.
Yes, third term.
Okay, next up is Robin Smith for treasurer. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Well, somehow she gets it. Okay, here's the tricky one. It's me, Bert Craigish, for secretary. Anyone opposed? Really? Are you sure? Thank you. Thank you. You know that if you oppose any person, you have to be on the board the next year, so. Not yet, not yet. Next up is John Light Powell as trip director. Anyone in favor? Anyone opposed? Okay, no, so noted. Okay, this next up, it's a team that we're voting for, but it counts as one director with one vote. And it's Jim Miernick and Patty Spencer for program co-directors. Excuse me, and I have to ask if anyone's opposed, although I know the answer, so. Okay. Next up is Tom Lupa for membership director. Okay, anyone opposed? Well, that's good, because he's like one of the few that I can highly recommend. Better you than me. Okay, next up is Paige Light Powell as safety director. Anyone opposed? Okay. Next we have Peggy Liggett for education director. Anyone opposed? Okay, and finally we have Janelle Neiman Ross as events director. Is anyone foolishly opposed? I mean, that's like the one position I can't imagine anyone would want to do. So this, give her an extra round of appreciation. And having said that, the elections are completed.
Thank you so much, Bert. Thanks everyone for voting. So coming up next, we've got our treasurer, Robin Smith. And then after Robin, we will have Janelle Neiman Ross talk about next year's events and trips. And make sure you save the questions till the end of each of their presentations. It'll make it go a lot more smoothly for folks out on Zoom. Go ahead and drop questions in the chat and we'll get to them at the end of each presentation. So without further ado, here is Robin Smith to talk about budget.
No, I can do that.
You can do it.
I just want to know what I'm,
Just don't touch the screen on that. Here, how about do this and then this?
Yeah. I figured I'd start off with this just quickly, because people are like, what? Beware of slurry in crosswalks. That's, yeah. Yeah. I was down in Salem meeting my girlfriend for breakfast that we get together, and I was so excited and it was fun. And I was looking for traffic and stepped off, and next thing I knew, I was face down in the mud with a broken wrist. So, yeah, Friday. So here I am. And I'm left-handed. Oh, and I just picked my sister up at the airport because we're doing my daughter's baby shower Saturday. Thank you. I needed to hear that. No. Excellent. I thought I was a slow typist before. Now it's truly 2 fingers. So thank you for the sympathy, but let's talk about what I came here for. The budget. Now, you all received the president's letter from Mark talking about our dues increase. And we had several people write in, which was great because that means they're reading the newsletter. So that helps. But we thought it would be wise to talk a little bit about what the budget for OOPS is, to defend why we feel that a rate increase, a very modest one at that, is necessary to keep our club thriving and moving forward. So I apologize, budgets are small and they're on Excel, but this is our 2024 budget. We have not finalized our 2025 budget. It won't change dramatically except for some of the bills that have gone, each year goes up a little bit. But I want to talk a little bit about how it's set up. We've got our revenues at the top, and then our expenses, and then columns going over, we've got the totals for each of those categories. And then there's a final one. I see my D got cut off. It's called non-funded. So before I start talking actual numbers, when we have our club events, or we have pool sessions, any special classes maybe that we're paying for, all of that, I call it, gets backfilled. We put the money out, we as the club, from our checking account to reserve all the sites for our events. Well, then as we sign up for events, that money comes in and refills what we put forward. So we do need a good size reserve in our checking account so that we can put those reservations in ahead of the event time. So those things pay for themselves. So as we go through, we'll see, for instance, the first line, membership. We roughly get about $9,000 in membership dues. And that's going to fund everything that doesn't get then backfilled. So events pay for themselves, pool sessions pay for themselves, CPR vouchers for our TOs pay for themselves. What doesn't pay for themselves, places like this, every monthly meeting, we have a bill for that, $150 a month. We have, if we go down, if you want to raise it a little bit, the education reimbursement. I hope every one of you know about this. This is open to membership in general, or if you're I'm sorry, I'm blanking all of a sudden, 20 or 30% for membership. 20, thank you. That's what my number was. And if you're a TO, it's a 60% reimbursement. So if you were to take a class, improving your paddling skills, group management. I know there's a big one right now of wilderness first aid, which would be wonderful for some of our events that are further out. You can apply through our website to get reimbursement. And if you're a general member, you get 20% of the fee for your class you took reimbursed to you. If you're a TO, you get 60%. So that's definitely a line item or a category that is not funded. We're not paying into that event like an event. So that comes directly out of membership dues. And then we have, sorry, I'm just going to go down through this. Oh, that big line item of GAY being our library, the books and charts, it's only $36, but still, it starts to add up. But the rest of the operations really adds up. Insurance, $2,200 for the year. The meetings, we generally have 10, or that's what we have budgeted for at $150 a month, so $1,500. Speaker honorariums. Anytime we have a specialty person come in and speak to us, we offer a $200 honorarium. It's not mandatory that they take it, and some do and some don't. But we have to budget for that for 10 meetings. So that's
You can take our honorarium
Yeah.
tonight, Robin? All right.
wow, that's going to add up today. So that's a $2,000 that we have to budget for. The storage and rent. We have a public storage space because those great fire pits that we use at our events, banners and the new sandwich boards there. We have canopies. Yeah, the very large canopy, all this equipment needs to go somewhere. And one of the questions that I received as treasurer, why do we have a storage place? Why don't we just have so-and-so or so-and-so store that? Well, for the longest times, Oops did that. And we had to buy new equipment because people start losing track, or they move away, or they forget, or they loan it out to someone else. So we have a storage, not locker, sorry, small storage space that keeps all of our gear safe, sound, and we're not repurchasing it. But again, that has to be paid for monthly. The Zoom monthly fees, that's not a huge one, 192. No questions, Joseph, member at the end. Thank you. And so that's an ongoing fee. And then software, that is for our Wild Apricot that we run our entire website through. And then also QuickBooks, because that's what I have to work with to keep all this straight. PayPal fees, because we use that, of course I get it. And our PO box, most of you probably do any transactions through our website, through PayPal. But some people still mail things. And so we have to have a physical address, if you will, of a PO box also for our insurance, because they want to know we actually have a place that we have a headquarters. So when we look at that, those categories under operations, particularly, there's a little O next to them in that third column over. That means there's no money for those. Nobody pays in and then we reimburse back. Those all get funded through membership. And the bottom of that column is $14,334. That's not getting funded. We outlay it, it comes back in. So that is purely membership. So at the end of this year, if every honorarium was paid out and all our budgeted items, followed suit with what we intended, we would be at a $6,838 shortfall. And another thing that I heard once we put out the dues information was, well, we have so much in our checking account. Why don't we spend some of that? Well, we have little over 18,000 right now. That'd be gone in 3 years or less if we did not raise dues. So that's why we, as a board, and two previous treasurers were telling me, you've got to raise dues. And so we are raising the dues. As Mark said in his letter, it's still a great bang for your buck. The events that we have, the fun that we have at our meetings, the education opportunities that you have, it can't be beat. And so if there's any questions now, Joseph, I would be happy to answer. And if I don't know the answer, I will find out for you. Yes.
Is a comment that the shared space also gives us access at odd hours. We don't have to wake somebody up to say, hey, I need the fire pit, or I need the canopy, or I need the equipment. Having a accessible spot is helpful.
Absolutely. So The question or the comment from Joseph was, you know, having this storage space makes it much easier for anyone who needs to come and get these items out of the storage versus going to someone's home where, you know, they might be way out and you have to go there, or it might be at odd hours. So it's a safe, logical place to have all our things stored. Patty,
Question from the chat.
okay.
Can the budget spreadsheet be posted on the OOPS website?
I don't know if it can be on the website, but I know we'll be sending it out to, once we finalize the 2025 budget, it will be going out. I don't know if it'll be on the listserv or the actual website. So. Oh, it will probably be with the meeting minutes. Exactly. So yes. Great question. We are, yes. What about filing them? I'm sorry. Oh, we have never done it before, but that doesn't mean we can't. Yeah, interesting.
Repeat that.
Sure. Question was, are the, since we're a nonprofit, are the tax returns posted on our website? And they are not. They haven't been. It might take me a minute to figure out how to do it, but I can look into that. Paige.
Dues to a nonprofit organization are tax deductible. So your membership dues are tax deductible. If you buy membership to the zoo, it's tax deductible. If you buy membership to a professional organization that is a 501c3, you break that up into taxes.
Excellent. The comment from Paige was that your membership dues are actually tax deductible because we are a nonprofit. Nice. Thanks for reminding us of that. Any other questions or thoughts or comments? I want to say in 2000, either 16 or 18. It was, yeah. So the question was, when was the last time dues was raised? And I believe it was an even number. I know that. So it was either 2016 or 2018. Joseph.
It often happens if we visit at the open house, which is something we're doing this year. Local places will give you coupons with valuable exchangers. So 3 is a very good number.
Right. And that comment was, don't forget to renew at the January open house. Because it just gets tacked on. Say you joined in June and then you renew in January, you lose those 6 months? No, it gets tacked on to your anniversary date. And one of our vendors, Alder Creek, and I don't know if they're continuing, but they have in the past, given a nice little credit if you renew that night. And so you actually are getting a little extra something for your dues, which is kind of nice. Moulton. Hi.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
We also get this extra benefit.
No,
Not anymore.
We do.
We do, yeah. Paige fixed it. The comment from Moulton was, we also get discounts at Next Adventure. And there was a discussion of, no, we don't. And we do. And Alder Creek still, yes. So an awful good deal for our membership. And I'm hopeful with you seeing the budget each year, people can see where's the money going? Why are we spending that? And how are you planning on, XYZ? So I'm all about transparency. There's, we're not hiding anything. And so the more we know, the better. Mark? Some people have. Some people in a red shirt have. I have never looked into it, so not seriously. I do know one thing I can mention. David, my husband, belongs to the Oregon Woodworkers Guild, and they use wild apricot. And so it's very easy to go in there and do everything that we do, right? We know. Now his membership covers, some very expensive equipment, but it's $95 a year for a single person and no family memberships. So just saying, we've got a pretty good price. Yeah. Joseph.
To clarify the discounts, it's all year long, I believe it's 10% at each of those places. It's not tied to, open houses, it's not tied to just if you are a Hoops member, they are happy to give you a discount. The same was also true at that Western Salt,
Right. It was anyways, huh? Just a reminder, 10% off at Alder Creek and Next Adventure all year round. Okay. 2 more questions. Yes. Tell me your name first. Al, nice to meet you. Are you Al Lammers? I know the last name because I, see these kinds of things on my chart. In our funding, great question. The question was, will our dues increase cover this gap? Yes, and that's what we have been working on. We had actually started talking about this pretty early this year. And we were going over it and kind of, well, what about this and that? And so the numbers that we settled on, we feel will cover this. We went 6 or 8 years without a dues increase. We'd like it to, go as long as it can. Tom.
Have you done I guess you would call it a break-even analysis? In other words, if we raise the dues by X amount, but we lose X amount of members, what that tipping point is, or how many members can we afford to lose because of the dues increase before we're back to this?
Right. No, but actually, let me repeat your question for the friends at home. The question was, have I done a cost analysis between raising the dues and possibly losing some members? At what point will we lose the benefit of raising the dues? I have not. I know we've talked about it in our board meetings to kind of think about it, but I have not done that. So that's something I can do and maybe include with our 2025 budgeting.
Yeah, I think it would be a good starting point for recruitment efforts to know that, oh, okay, we really need to do X, Y, Z to keep our membership at least where it is, which is around 300.
Right. Great. Thank you, membership, Tom. Awesome. Looking out for your own. And I think we're done. So thanks for listening. Budgets aren't that fun. Okay, one more thing. Yeah. If you have any other questions, you can write to me directly at treasurer@oopskayak.org, and I get those and I can respond to you then. So maybe you'll think of something afterwards. Thank you.
Excellent, Robin.
And I didn't.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you so much. That was really well thought out presentation, and we appreciate seeing all those numbers. Okay, so folks at home, we're ready for one more. We've got our illustrious Janelle Neiman-Roth. And she has been working super hard, as always, on some really cool events for next year. And we're going to hear all about them right now. Here you go.
Yeah, too tight. Don't touch the screen on the phone. And just walk into bullets.
Okay.
All right, and if I'm back far enough, maybe I'll take off my mask. A cold from lots of flights and all that good stuff. So we've got a great slate of upcoming events for 2025. We started back in February and March and had 2 meetings where people at the meetings, and there was a survey sent around to ask, where do you want to go in 2025, knowing that 2024 was still an inkling in our eye and just the future plans or future trips. So we had a lot of people make recommendations and offer to staff our 2025 events. And I have to say, as this afternoon, we have one assistant manager position open, but otherwise for 5 events in 2025, we have it fully staffed. So that's incredible. So our first trip is going to be up to Grays Harbor, and it's about almost 3 hours north of us. It's north of Willapa Bay, which had been looked at as well. Linda Scott and Larry Fisher spent a couple of, the summer really researching the area and decided that Willapa Bay was not okay for a big group, that the tides are so contentious, the tides make it so hard to camp there. So, but they explored Grays Harbor, and it looks like there are fabulous places to paddle and hike up there. So Linda Scott with Larry are the event managers. Lori Stoll, who I see online, is going to be our admiral, and our assistant Susanna Kalu. We're going to camp at Hoquiam River RV campsite. It's really fun because if you have a tent and don't want electricity, you can camp right on the river. It's really beautiful. And then I've reserved a whole bunch of spots in the RV section for our group. So we'll be in a big cluster, but not an F after that. So note that this trip is over Memorial Day, and we'll paddle Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and possibly Monday. And then there's our OOPS member. I don't know, Alan, I don't know if you're online. Alan has this really great guidebook that Linda and Larry used extensively. Oh, Linda is holding it up, called Southwest Washington Paddle Trips. And it just is a wonderful resource. So we'll be using that to develop trips. That we do have that book in our library, and Lori Stoll has it right now as she's the trip admiral. And you can also download it onto your phone for, I think it's free for the download, and maybe, well, $15 for a copy. So it's a really great resource that Ellen has for out there. So, okay, and you can go to the next slide. It's a map of Grays Harbor, which is also on maps known as North Bay. I'm a little confused on that, but we'll be staying, you can see Hoquiam River RV Camp is on the north side of a town called Hoquiam. And then there's the east branch and the main Hoquiam rivers, Wishkah, Chehalis, Blue Slough, Ducks Lake. There's the Bay City Bay, there's the ocean. There's just such a tremendous amount of excellent places to go. And then the next slide. This is along the riverbank. So it's tidal. So there may not be great launch spots there, but there's a lot of spots within 10, 15 miles or so. Is that what you'd say, Linda? To launch.
Middle branch of the Hoquiam, there's 3 branches of Hoquiam.
Three.
There's plenty of places to paddle.
And to launch. Linda was just saying that they paddled the middle and all 3 branches of Hoquiam, plus a lot of others. So we may not be able to launch directly from our campsite, but there's lots of spots that we will be able to launch from. Okay. Our next event is Cascade Lakes in Central Oregon. That's such a wonderful spot. And it's a really great spot for newer paddlers because it's amazingly beautiful small lakes. And then the Deschutes River. So Joseph Skudlerek is going to be our event manager, and Peter is going to be our admiral. And then we'll be, sorry, Peter, if you're online, we'll be camping at Lapine State Park. And yeah, Hosmer, Sparks, Paulina, Deschutes, Prairie Reservoir. So some really great paddles there. And that's about 4 hours from Portland. And that will be the middle of the week. We'll paddle Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Because the launch sites have very limited parking, we found that if we go on the weekends, we'll drive for 20, 30 minutes and then not have a place to park. So that's why this one is in the middle of the week. Right, next. In July, going to Sunset Bay in Southern Oregon. It's just by Coos Bay. Our event manager is Paige Knight Powell. The Admiral is Steve Blackwood, and also Ken Sund, I think, is going to be assisting. And then our assistant is Brenda Brewer. Hey, so just such a great team. Again, I just can't tell you how it's a lot of work being the director, but you know what? It's a lot of fun knowing that I just get to do a little bit of the behind scenes, knowing that people up front are so talented and have such expertise. So, and we'll be camping at Sunset Bay State Park or staying at Paige's sister's house. Oh, no, I didn't say that. Okay. And all right. So that's July. Oh, yeah. Okay. Just a barbecue there. Here's a map that goes, oh, so many options. And you can't really even see the word for Sunset Bay, so I made it much bigger. And it's right near Charleston. I covered up a kayaker image, and but that's where it is. All right. The fourth trip will be on Lopez. This didn't originally make the cut. And then we were at Orcas, and Fred Harsman said, "What? Not going to Lopez? Is that a sacrilegious sort of statement?" So he convinced me to say, well, you know, if we can find staff for it, give me some dates for tides. And this will be August 21st through the 25th. Pending getting campsites. We usually get the group site at Odland County Park, and Kristen Price and Kathy Bolin, I rounded them up at Mel Wishram's Memorial Paddle, and they were so gracious about saying, well, we'd do that. Would be the event managers. So they are working on getting the group site January 3rd. And there's a couple alternative dates that if we need to change it, there's another weekend that would work. It's just such a cool place, and it's in our backyard, you know, okay, 6 hours away, but that's still our backyard. So, all right. And then our fifth event for 2025 is Nehalem Bay, only a couple hours from us. And John is going to be our event manager. We have co-admirals Denise Harrington and Jillian Rivas de Villa. And then our assistant is Lynn right over here, Lynn Lindgren. So we'll be camping at Nehalem Bay Campground, which we hope is back open. It's supposed to be open by July of next year. So, and maybe we'll have our end of the summer salmon bake there. So I don't think we'll do Scott Rockaway next year, but that may be on the work for the following. So, and then, so when do you sign up? That's a great question. So right now, I've just been putting together the descriptions so you can look on the calendar and start to see the descriptions of these. And then the next part is the event managers are going to be booking campsites, and typically that's done 6 months to a year in advance. So we've got campsites for the first one, but the rest are not available yet. So we'll do that. The admirals are going to be recruiting TOs. So any TOs here, just either I'm going to send this information out to the listserv. And so you don't need to have written down the admirals' names or numbers here. I'll send that out. And then any trip organizers, if you have interest, go ahead and write to that admiral so they can start getting a list of folks who are interested in particular trips and or events. And then registration for the staff and the trip organizers take place early. Just without them, we don't have a trip. So as soon as we get that cohort and campsites reserved, we'll open registration to the trip advisors or trip organizers and staff. And then the registration for the general membership will open generally 3 to 4 months ahead of the event. So, and I'll, right now it all says to be determined, but we'll send an announcement prior to registration opening. And then it is kind of a first come first. Yeah, so you just rush to the website, and I'll have some tips about doing that as registrations open. Let's see, and then send any questions you have to me at events@oopskayak.org. And then one last thing I wanted to mention was, so 2025 is well underway. So excited. But you know what's coming up? 2026. I know. It's like, no. So in February and March, we'll start to talk about events for 2026. And what that does is it gives people an idea to start thinking, well, where else would I like to go? And then to take next summer to do some research. If you have a place like Linda and Larry went up to Willapa Bay and Grays Harbor and just did a lot of scouting this summer. And so by starting to talk about it this next spring, it gives us a big leeway to then recruit team members and scout out where this is a new camping spot we're going to for Hoquiam River, and just it gives us options to scout new locations out. So keep kind of at the open house, which is January 29th at Emmanuel Lutheran Church in Selwood from 6 to 8. There will be pizza and vendors and Alder Creek certificates, we're pretty sure, for people who renew their membership. So if your membership is $50 and you get a $20 or $30 gift certificate, your membership just went down. So, but I will have some signups there for, let me know what 2026 causes you to be excited. So, any questions?
One on the chat. The chat, Dennis says, please confirm the dates for Cascade Lakes event. Email a few days ago from Mark. Shows June 19th to 26th.
Yeah, thanks, Dennis, for bringing that up. Mark, you sent that out, or did I send it out? It might have Mark's fault. We'll blame Mark. We'll blame Mark. Thanks so much. That actually got changed this afternoon. When I was talking to Peter and Joseph, Peter volunteered this afternoon to be the admiral. You know, a letter went out, and so he stepped forward and said, "Ooh, weekdays are much better than weekends." So thanks, Dennis. Yes, and it's correct on the calendar. So. Okay. Any other?
Why don't we just register for campsites in January of the year we're going to do the event?
That works for the May campsite 6 months, but they don't open, you know. Oh, yes. Mark has a goofy question, but so we're working on that, after 40 years together, we are working on that. Sorry, that's really, Mark asked, why don't we just reserve all of the campsites in January? Well, not all of them are open in January, and some we have to reserve them in August for the following August. So each one of them has a little bit different requirement. That's why. One other thing I wanted to say, I was really concerned last year at Orcas, the campsite that we camp at, which is a beautiful campsite and has launch potential. I mean, we launched from it, and there's ice cream, and there's popcorn, and there's campfires, and there's great showers, but it went up like probably 50% over the last couple of years. And I was really concerned because I think, our OOPS events have cost us such a small amount of money every year. And then Orcas last year was like $180 a person. It's like, shit. Well, and yeah, to sleep in a tent. And then I looked at professional guided trips in the Orcas, and that same trip would have cost us $800 to $1,000. And then the other thing with that, you never know on the professional trips who you're paddling with. And so we've gone on professional trips where I didn't get to paddle because Mark and I are too damn fast and the other people were too damn slow. And so I would sit in the front of my kayak and not in the front of our kayak and not paddle. So with OOPS, that people have at least a similar skill to you, or you can find, folks who enjoy paddling at your speed. So I really think that we offer an amazing, our TOs are so well trained and just an amazing sense of camaraderie. So so I won't apologize for prices going up because we really do essentially cover camping and a bit extra. So I think we have, but I'll have to look, Jean, back at, does anybody know about if we've been at Nehalem Campground before? Okay. Yeah. And they're redoing it, so we should have beautiful facilities. Oh, John's gonna fly us all in. Complete with our kayaks, right, John? Okay. And we can ride horses to the campsite. Yeah. So great. All right. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. I mean, this whole evening just shows everyone, I hope, how amazing this organization is. The volunteers, the participants, it's really all of you who, quite frankly, made Jim and I join the board because we wanted to give back. It's an amazing organization and you can't just keep taking. You got to give back sometimes. So keep that in mind, if you ever want to give back, think about being on the board at some point next year or the year after. And I think with that, so next month, December, there is no programs meeting. And in January, Janelle mentioned there's going to be the open house over at the church again. Check the calendar. It's going to be January 29th from 6 to 8. Going to be the fun open house like we had last year. Bring your friends. You don't have to be a member to attend that. And just come on and have some fun. There's a sign up genius there. If you want to help out with the event, there's, people like a Joseph is an amazing pizza cook. We have people to help with membership, to help with the raffle, to help with cleanup, setup, all kinds of fun things you can volunteer for there. So with that, I think we are all finished for the night. Thank you, everybody.